Good morning. Welcome to Mondays with Marthie. Today I want to talk to you about three things. Please subscribe to my channel if I forget. The three things are your roots, what you're about and what you're not about, what defines you and what doesn't define you. So as we're getting closer to Christmas, I always feel that Christmas is a time when you push the reset button and you decide, this is what I'm about. And especially when you meet your family. I know when I meet my brothers, I just feel normal again, where it's okay to do this and that because we understand where it comes from. We have the same frame of reference. So the first thing I want to say is to get back to your roots. And if you ever hear my song Rainmaker, it's part of my Christiane Kerse show, you'll hear that it actually refers to how Joseph and Mary had to go to Bethlehem to find their roots and where you're from. So sometimes it's important to find your roots because then you understand where you're coming from and what defines your path and what makes you passionate about some things and less passionate about other things. So your roots is important. So I actually have something special. It's a book I made a while ago, and it actually has all the people that has influenced me in a positive way in my past. So for example, Ochmandino's book, Greatest Salesman in the World, I've lived as an onion plant for too long. So any quotes that makes it should be a big one. See, be the best is my first music teacher. If you have kids and they want to tell you about their day, let them. And what else? A person's own name is music to his ears. Dale Carnegie, my dad, always showed what he means. And your tongue can start a fire. That was my one other music teacher. Music teachers are important influences. My husband that taught me that children should always come first. And anything is possible. She gave me my 8th subjects, one of my teachers. My brother that always shows you have to play with your kids and you have to invest in what stays the same, and that's not your body. That's a Wayne Dyer quote. And my grandfather who always had big belief in God and prayers, and my sister-in-law that says anything fits for the voila, and my brother that always works hard. I'm going to get into trouble for quoting them, but anyway. And the serenity prayer, to change the stuff you can and accept the things you can. My brother would always say it's never a problem. And my mother that says always be positive. And Brian Kavanagh that used to bring you tea. So it's just people. You can always learn what you don't know yet. And then in the back I have a bunch of papers. I actually took it out. It's quotes. So I think it's important to know where your roots are and who is the people that's defined you, that on the days that you need it and you just want to push your reset button, you have to know where you came from and what defines you and what are you about. So looking at your roots is very important to see where you've come from. So then today you look at what defines you and what does not define you. So it's very important to look at both sides. So I know for me, when I grew up, it was very important to be creative, spend time being creative, practicing piano. Nobody ever bothered me, but being married and having children and having a spouse that in his house, it would be important to keep everything clean and be working hard, elbow grease and scrubbing and stuff like that. It's very, very different to say, well, if I'm playing piano, I am working hard. If I am scrubbing the floor, I'm also working hard. Very different sets of values and ways of doing stuff that you bring into the house, and now you're trying to balance it. So it's important to realize that people have different expectations. So what defines you is important, especially if you want to keep your identity. And it's okay to expand what you're about, but if you lose your core, it will make you unhappy. So for me, I know I have to be creative. So I pick my times when I'm creative, when I can spend time on it, and not necessarily be it in a person's space that do not understand it. So it's a bit of a challenge to get that together, but I have to understand that that's what I'm about and what makes me happy. So creativity defines me. It's important for me to think of a new way to do the same thing, you know. So this week I'll organize the cupboard from dark to light colors. Next week I'll do it in a new way. We'll fold everything square, you know. It's still tidying and cleaning your room, but it's being creative about it. Where other people will just say, well, let's just do it like we've done it every single day, the same way, the way that it's worked for years. See, you get to the same end, but in a different way. So it's a method of bringing your personality into what it is. And what does not define you is, I think sometimes when you look at somebody, you define them according to what you understand. So when I look at people, I will sort of measure them according to how creative they can be. And maybe for them, it'll be as how hard they can work. And for me, it's like, well, maybe the same way you've done it always is not the best way. Maybe we can do it better, faster, quicker. And they're like, no, we'll do. So sometimes you judge people by the glasses you look through from your roots and where you come from. And it's important to know what defines you and what does not define you. And I don't know if it makes a lot of sense, but in my mind, I can understand that it's important to know what you're about and what you're not about, and what you're going to keep and take to heart, and what you're not going to put on your shoulders. So for me, Christmas is a fantastic time to push the reset button, to know where you're from, what defines you, what does not define you. And I hope you have a wonderful time with your family, and if you're going on holiday, that you'll have a safe trip. I am doing my Geseënde Kersfees show on the 25th of November at the Droste Theatre. And it's going to be lots of fun because I have an afternoon show at 3 and an 8 o'clock show. And I have a wonderful band that's going to be joining me. I have Justin Jeffers on guitar and Chadley Gower on bass. And I have Willem de Beer on cajon, he actually builds them. And I have Thomas de Bruin on flute. And then I have Anouk Bauer, she's doing solo work for me. And Wendy Latemba, she's going to be doing Koza. And I have Feature Melodies, it's going to be doing my choir work. So it's going to be very exciting. And I have the Rapping Donkey as a pre-show. And yes, I hope to see you there. And I'm looking forward to a rest. So I hope you have a wonderful week. And please subscribe to my channel. And if you have any suggestions, you're more than welcome to leave it.